Last year around this time, I talked about the first trailers for Q-Force because everyone on the internet seemed to be roasting it. A lot of people thought it was a very mediocre concept of a show, and the jokes in the trailers fell flat, but Netflix released it, hoping for it at least to get off the ground, maybe rake in some views for them, but they've decided to cancel it after only one season because people hated it so much. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month, or support the channel via YouTube memberships. All of the links are in the description, and of course, I do really appreciate all of the support. So I wanted to start with an initial article I read last year around this time. It was titled, "Everyone is Dunking on Q-Force, Netflix's Cringeworthy LGBTQ plus cartoon," so that I can show you all the lead up to the cancellation and why they decided it just wasn't worth it to continue. So this article says Netflix has listened to the widespread demands for more queer representation on TV, launching an adult animated sitcom about a team of LGBTQ plus spies. It's a queer satire of James Bond, a concept that sounds pretty cool at first glance. Unfortunately, the first trailer for Q-Force, yes, that's the actual title, looks kind of cringeworthy, focusing on stereotypes and unfunny one-liners. It provoked widespread mockery as soon as it arrived on Twitter, mostly from queer people, joking that watching the trailer made them straight. We are talking about tons of people on social media hating the idea for this show. We're talking about people that this would appeal to, people that wouldn't watch this in the first place. Everyone kind of came together and hated it together. It was actually really, really funny when it was going on, just because there were so many different types of people saying, yeah, I'm supposed to want to watch this. I'm part of the LGBTQ, and I absolutely hate this. It didn't go the way that these creators thought it was going to. It says straight aim gay heroes, and then it lists a lot of the actors who were in it, coming to Netflix September 2nd. Q-Force has a gay showrunner and includes several LGBTQ plus voice actors like Wanda Sykes and Sean Hayes. The show is walking the walk in terms of queer representation, both behind the camera and on screen. However, this doesn't guarantee that Q-Force will be good, and oh boy, it wasn't. If we go on over to the first YouTube trailer that was posted, yikes, it has over 1 million views. It has only 11,000 likes and 124,000 dislikes. You would think on 1 million plus views, there would be 100,000 likes if people liked it. And even if people didn't like it, maybe 50 to 60,000 likes, that really doesn't sound like that much, but it has over 120,000 dislikes. And if you look at the comments, 20,000 comments of people absolutely roasting this trailer and the concept for this show. People were saying things like, the dislikes aren't homophobic, literally everyone is agreeing that this is terrible. LGBTQ community, it would be great if we could get some more positive representation in entertainment. Netflix, how do you do, my fellow gays? I mean, there wasn't a lot of positivity around this, but regardless, it released. It's not like they decided to cancel it after people didn't like the teasers, the trailers. They still decided to release it, and it flopped. I mean, the critic ratings were abysmal for this show. It's sitting at a 29% average for critic and a 78% average audience, which is actually pretty good. But if you go to the audience scores, there's a lot of positives in a very short amount of time, and we're not even talking about when the show released. We are talking just over the past few months. There is a massive amount of positive reviews, which is a little odd because usually shows get the most reviews that they're going to when it initially comes out. But Netflix decided that this didn't get enough viewership and that no one liked this, and it wasn't good enough because Netflix animated comedy Q-Force is canceled after only one season, which I, of course, think is pretty funny because they thought that this was going to be good enough, that everyone was going to love this, that they were going to be able to market this to adults and the LGBTQ community, and no one liked it. It says Netflix has canceled animated comedy Q-Force after one single season. The show follows Agent Merriweather, voiced by Will and Grace's Sean Hayes, a spy who's relocated to West Hollywood after coming out as gay. There are some well-known voice actors here: Matt Rogers, Wanda Sykes, David Harbour, but it says the good news is that it will always be on Netflix. Rogers, who voiced Master of Drag Twink, said on the Attitudes podcast, "It did not get a second season, but I feel like the fact that it is out there and it is really close to my heart is good enough." Now, of course, the people who were behind this project are going to be positive about it, but it's not like we were talking about a series here with hours of content. I mean, the episodes were 25 minutes long each, and of course, 3 minutes is credits, so it really didn't get much of a chance to succeed here, which I think is pretty funny. When it comes to a show like this, clearly it was aimed at adults, but the jokes weren't funny. Comedy series like this can definitely work if the details are solid. Okay, the writing has to be great because not only do you need a general story to keep people interested in coming back for more, but you also need great jokes. You need good animation. You can't just throw a general LGBTQ spy theme at the wall, put minimum effort into it, and expect it to stick. Of course, when series like this fail, writers, producers, actors say, "Ugh, it's just all the ists and phobes," because they can't accept the fact that they created a trash product. And in this case, even the people they wanted the series to appeal to were offended by the jokes and the stereotypes and absolutely hated it. I mean, maybe there were people out there who liked it, but they definitely didn't show up to like the trailers, show support on social media, or even give it ratings because, as this article says, it only has 17 critic reviews and it's sitting at a 29, but that 78% for a user rating is only based on 271 reviews, so that's not even a substantial amount of people who went to give it a good review. This was a show based on representation, and the people they wanted to represent didn't even like this series, and that's ultimately why it failed, because this isn't a show that you're just going to go to Netflix, you're going to see, and you're going to click. I feel like it only appeals to very certain types of people, and that's fine. You know, I'm not saying that that entertainment shouldn't exist for those individuals, but clearly this wasn't a show with mass appeal, and the people who they wanted to watch this series didn't like it. They were absolutely roasting it when the trailers were released, and they were actually offended by the jokes and the stereotypes. So Q-Force is canceled. I highly doubt we're going to hear anything else about this series ever again, but that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.